The story of Abu Jahl, the tyrant of Quraysh. In the heart of ancient Makkah, where the Kaaba stood surrounded by the mountains of Tihama, the tribe of Quraysh held power, prestige, and wealth. Among its nobles stood a man whose name would become a symbol of arrogance and enmity toward the truth. Abu Jahl, whose real name was Amr ibn Hisham. Before Islam, Quraysh called him Abu al-Hakam, the father of wisdom. But when the light of revelation descended upon Muhammad, his pride darkened and his wisdom turned to hatred. The prophet named him Abu Jahl, the father of ignorance, and history remembered him that way forever. Abu Jahl had grown up in the highest ranks of Quraysh. His authority, wealth, and influence were unmatched, and he viewed the leadership of Makkah as his inherited right. When Muhammad began preaching the message of one God, Abu Jahl did not see it as a spiritual call. He saw it as a threat to his power, his tribe, and the old order he had always commanded. From the earliest days of Islam, Abu Jahl became the fiercest enemy of the Prophet. He mocked him in the gatherings of Quraysh, spreading slander and lies. When he saw Muslims praying at the Kaaba, he grew furious. When he saw slaves and weak members of society accepting Islam, he exploded with rage. He could not tolerate the idea that all humans were equal before God, or that authority could belong to a man chosen by the Creator. One of the most infamous moments in Abu Jahl's life occurred when the Prophet was praying near the Kaaba. Abu Jahl, swollen with arrogance, swore loudly in front of his companions that he would place his foot on the Prophet's neck and crush him while he prayed. Curious and amused, the Quraysh gathered to watch what would happen, but when Abu Jahl approached, his face suddenly transformed with terror. He retreated in fear, trembling. When Quraysh mocked him for losing courage, he insisted that a blazing trench of fire and terrifying wings had appeared before him. What he saw was a divine protection placed between him and the messenger of God. Yet even after this, his hatred only deepened. He pushed the weak Muslims into torment. He ordered the torture of Sumayya bint Qayyat, who would become the first martyr in Islam. He pressured tribal leaders to reject Muhammad, and he threatened anyone who dared to support him. When Quraysh boycotted the Prophet's family and confined them in the valley of Shib Abi Talib for 3 harsh years, Abu Jahl was one of the masterminds behind the cruel plan. But his greatest hostility appeared on the day of Badr, the first major battle in Islamic history. When the Muslims marched out to intercept a caravan, Abu Jahl insisted that Quraysh must not turn back. He inflamed their pride, mocked their fear, and forced the army to continue. He wanted a final confrontation, a decisive moment to destroy Muhammad once and for all. On the battlefield, Abu Jahl rode proudly in his armor, convinced that victory was guaranteed. He boasted that the people of Makkah would celebrate with wine and song that very night. But as the fighting began, the tide quickly turned. The small Muslim army fought with courage and unity, and the angels reinforced them with divine support. The proud commander of Quraysh soon found himself overwhelmed. In the end, he fell wounded among the dead of Quraysh, unable to rise. As life slipped away from him, he looked up to see 2 young Muslim warriors standing over him. Even in his final moments, his arrogance remained. When he was told that the victory belonged to Allah and His messenger, he replied with bitter pride that he had never hated anyone more than Muhammad. Thus ended the life of a man whose power could not save him, whose pride blinded him, and whose arrogance led him into destruction. His story became a lesson for all generations, that no authority, no tribe, no wealth, and no strength can defeat the truth, and that those who raise themselves with arrogance are often lowered in the sight of God. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to support the channel and help us grow.